Tori Amos.
Hello, James.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very well.
Well, it's very nice to meet you again, because we did actually meet for the American Doll Posse album, and that was, I was very surprised to hear this morning, was 5 years ago.
Wow.
Time just zips on by, doesn't it?
It's so fast.
Yeah, and obviously we're here to talk about Gold Dust, which is a collection of songs from your sort of 20-year kind of career as a solo artist. But I just wanted to ask you about the passage of time, really, and whether it seemed, is it sort of surprising to you to realise that, you know, you've been doing this for 2 decades now? Does it feel that long?
No, it does. It feels as if it's flown by.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw my daughter in the hotel room, and when I look at her, I realize, oh, right, you're taller than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So time is passing. But it doesn't seem like 20 years. It really doesn't.
Let's talk about the album. There are songs that are re-recorded with an orchestra.
Mm.
I'm assuming that your album previous to this, Night of the Hunters, was maybe gave you the idea, because that was orchestral as well. Is that correct?
Night of Hunters was in process. I was composing it. I'd been invited by the Metropole Orchestra to play one show with them.
Mm-hmm.
And in rehearsals, it all started to come together. A conversation, an idea that, wow, the versions are changing. They're different, but yet it's not a complete makeover. They're still retaining their spirit.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask this later, but often when I read interviews with you, and you've just done it now, you talk about songs almost as though they're kind of people. They have their own kind of personality and they evolve over time. Is that how you see songs?
Yeah, they're the song girls.
They are?
Yeah, I see them as consciousness.
Okay.
That I would say to you that it's a co-creation, that I'm able to hear them because of a conversation that happens or an event that happens, mm-hmm. and sort of a valve opens up or a door,
yeah.
and I'm able to hear them.
So are they there fully formed in some other dimension that you tune
I think
into?
so, yeah, I think so.
Okay. You and Keith Richards both think that.
Do we? Yeah. I didn't know that.
He describes it as his job as being like a radio, and he has to tune in and pick these things which are already there, already exist. So that's interesting. Okay. I read that you performed over 1,000 shows in that time. Obviously, you wouldn't do it if you didn't like it. Mm. But what does live performance give you? What's the thrill of it for you?
Well, live performance is really where the alchemy happens, I think, because there's a relationship between performer and the people who come to the shows. Mm-hmm. And whether you're at the Albert Hall or Radio City, it needs to be, you treat it like a living room.
Yeah.
And that there's a fire there, and you're sharing a conversation and stories around the fire. Mm-hmm. And so in live performance, the songs can really come to life. They begin to show me who they are. When you're recording a record, a lot of times I don't know the songs very well.
Yeah.
This record was different because I know them all, as well as a twin would know their other twin. I mean, I know the girls. They didn't want me to remake the wheel for them. Yeah. But Precious Things, Flavor, they really wanted a different kind of approach.
You have your own label now, I believe.
Yes.
How has that come about, and what sort of form does it take? Are you signing other artists? Or is it
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm on Deutsche Grammophon, so part of Universal still. The label Transmission Galactic is with ADA, which is the Warner side, Warner Brothers. And the idea was, it's a collective, it's a group of people that want to develop artists and bands. It's in development, because as we were, I think, talking about, that unless a label gets results right away, sometimes they cut you loose. And yes, I understand about funding, I understand where the industry is, but I think that there needs to be a place where artists can develop. So that's the idea, and it needs to happen organically, the signings of bands and artists, and it might take a little time to get a roster, but that's okay. I'd like to think that people are kind of not that it's your football team, but that artists are in a way dependent. Yeah. Very dependent now these days on people wanting to hear what their work is and how it's growing and changing and coming to see them.
I think that's a lovely note on which to say it's been very nice to meet you.
It's
And
good to see you again.
indeed. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers.